provides you the service, and the power that goes to the other utilities, the air conditioning, and all those other components, that is not really delivering the service that is critical to you. You need to make sure that there is a lot more power going to the IT side than going to the air conditioning. If you are having a lot more power on your air conditioning than your IT, then really there is a problem and you need to assess. But how do you do that? You have to make sure you've got information dashboards, and you're using smart technologies to capture this sort of statistics so that you can learn from the patterns. The other thing you need to do, I think this is something that was touched on yesterday, and I'll still touch on it. You need to automate, and automation starts from really how you are just running the entire data center operation. I've been to data center facilities that are actually 1 square kilometers, and what you're told is you're not going to get a single person taking you around. You'll be walking around, and there'll be some sort of digital dashboards that will be giving you information that is critical based on where you are. Those are very smart ways of just making sure that you're also making use of technology to be efficient and also to be as productive as you need to be. But then this equally applies even to the network service providers. So the network service providers also need to think of ways and means to automate how they're delivering their services. The day a network service provider will actually have a service that will require online activation without any physical involvement, the same way we are pushing the banks to do, I think that's where we need to go to. And this is one of the big success stories for the cloud service providers, using service-oriented architecture on web-based or web-based support systems, as opposed to the calls that you need to make every now and then for you to get assistance or support. What other thing do you need to look at if at all you're to be efficient? That's an image I always use in terms of just making our customers appreciate that they need to help us so that they also bring in equipment that are very efficient. We are today speaking hyperconvergence. Technology is shrinking. What you see is an actual illustration of the Elliott's 152 computer when it was being installed in 1950. And the image you see right on top of it is actually a chip that meets the same computing performance as that actual computer when it was being installed. We use it just to tell our customers, I mean, it makes sense that you actually use smaller footprints in the data center space and use and be a lot more productive, or have equipment or systems that are a lot more productive. What other things do we look at? I think network consideration I already talked about. On networks, again, the same concept of elasticity on the cloud. The network service providers also need to think of having elastic bandwidth, and they also need to think of ways and means to automate how customers can actually provision for themselves bandwidth on a need basis. If at all that's not going to happen, then again, this sort of becomes a mirage. But the other things we also need to think about as security, which I think has been well captured by Christo in his presentation. In terms of connectivity, how do we look at? That's an actual depiction of all the network service providers that are present at East Africa Data Center, which is really just one of the data centers that we have within Liquid Telecom as we are now developing or coming up with an African data center strategy, or a Pan-African data center footprint. I'll want to end at that because my time is up. I think I'll be free to take questions any other time, and thanks a lot really for the time.
Dan, don't leave the stage. There's a picture you showed here. Just go back with a guy who's drowning under the cables. Is that the new way of deep sea diving, or can he breathe?
That guy has been asked to open a server.
I don't understand. This guy. I don't know. What is this guy's story? Is he breathing?
That guy has been asked to open a server, and that's exactly what he's doing. So the customer is waiting for feedback.
But at this rate, by the time he gets out, he'll be strangled.
Leave alone that. He's actually taking down other customers. Yeah, but it's normal, huh? It's a common occurrence, guys.